Welcome, gentle listener, to Sleepy Facts. This is a quiet place where knowledge is a soft whisper and stories unfold at the pace of your own breath. Let the edges of your day begin to soften and allow your mind the gentle space it deserves to rest. Tonight, we will drift into a world woven from moonlight and silence. Just allow your breathing to slow. A long, soft breath in and a gentle, quiet breath out. The world outside is growing still. The air is a little cooler now, and high above the moon has begun its silent journey, casting a silver cloth over a sleeping world. In this peaceful moment, between the ending of one thing and the beginning of another, something ancient is stirring, a presence that makes no sound, a keeper of the quietest hours. It is an invitation from the night, an invitation into the deepest stillness. Let your mind drift now to a forest, not a dark or tangled wood, but a gentle, breathing place. Mist gathers here, moving slowly between the trunks of ancient trees. The ground is damp and soft, smelling of moss and of old quiet memories. The air here is clean and cool, like a drink of fresh water for your thoughts. Each breath you take seems to blend with the breath of the forest itself. You are not a visitor here. You are a part of its peace. And then, there, a shape separates from a branch. There is no sound. Not a single leaf trembles. It is not a flap of wings, but a glide, a release, a thought taking flight in the silver air. This is the owl, the first observer of the moonlit world. Its presence does not break the quiet, it deepens it. Like a single low note in a symphony of calm, its being gives shape to the peace all around it. The world itself seems to slow down just to match its rhythm. Through the beat of its soundless wings, silence itself begins to speak. It tells stories of things forgotten, of a wisdom that has no need for words, of the profound beauty in simply being. Allow your mind to follow its flight. Do not try to analyze, just feel. Feel the softness of the air as it parts around those wings. Feel the peace held within its unblinking gaze. Now let us draw a little nearer, not with our feet, but with our awareness. We draw near to sense how its body is shaped by stillness itself. Look at its feathers. They are not like the feathers of other birds. They are as soft as smoke, as fine as breath. Their edges are not sharp but frayed and delicate, like the edge of a cloud. This intricate design is a gift of the natural world. It was made not to fight the air, but to become one with it. As the owl's wings move, these soft edges break up the flow of air, turning what would be a sound into a whisper, and then into nothing at all. Each feather is an instrument of silence. The surface of each one is coated in a fine down like velvet that does not reflect sound but absorbs it. This surface does not argue with the air. It welcomes it, embraces it, and lets it pass by without a trace. This is why the owl's flight leaves no acoustic shadow. Its movement is a dance, a perfect dissolution into the night. It does not conquer the sky. It becomes a part of it. Breathe with that same rhythm, a rhythm of grace, of effortless efficiency. As it flies, the air is not an obstacle, but a partner lifting it gently, offering no resistance. Stillness is not just the absence of noise. It is a presence, a texture, a feeling. And the owl is the living embodiment of that feeling. It wears the silence like a cloak and moves through the world in a state of perfect peace. Now let your attention drift to its eyes. They are not spheres that can glance from side to side. They are deep tubes fixed in their gaze. Two still lakes of liquid night gathering every faint photon of starlight. Because they cannot move, the head itself must turn. And the movement is extraordinary. The neck pivots in a slow, elegant arc, almost a full circle, allowing its gaze to sweep across the sleeping forest. There is no hurry, no sudden movement, only a smooth, fluid motion, like water flowing around a stone. Imagine yourself drifting with that movement. The world turns slowly, gracefully. The trees become soft silhouettes. The moonlight becomes long, gentle streaks of silver. You are seeing the world through the eyes of stillness. Inside those enormous eyes, the night is not black. It is a world of infinite silver, a landscape of soft shapes and deep shadows. The owl can see the subtle contrast between a leaf and its own shadow. It can see the smallest stir of a creature hidden in the tall grass. For the owl, darkness is not a curtain. It is a canvas on which the stories of the night are painted in light and shadow. It sees the invisible architecture of the night, the currents of energy, the rhythms of life we so often miss. Its gaze is not a search, but an acceptance, a silent question suspended in the silver air. Its gaze is a question, and the answer comes not through light, but through the faintest vibrations of the air. The night is a vast ocean of sound, and the owl is built to navigate its quietest currents. Look closely at its face. See how the feathers form a perfect, gentle dish, a sound mirror woven from the softest materials. Each feather is aligned with impossible precision, creating a delicate funnel that gathers the whispers of the world and guides them toward two hidden openings, toward its ears. This face is not designed for expression in the way we know it. It is designed for listening. It is a living instrument, constantly turning, tilting, adjusting, feeling for the subtle textures of the soundscape. And beneath those feathers lies a secret of its perfect hearing. The ears are not placed evenly. One is slightly higher than the other. This small perfect difference is the key. It allows the owl to perceive not just the direction of a sound, but its height as well. The ear that is higher listens for the stories of the air, a moth's wing fluttering against a leaf. The ear that is lower listens to the secrets of the earth, the tiny stirrings of life hidden from sight. The tiny fraction of a second of difference between a sound arriving at one ear and then the other allows the owl to build a map made not of sight, but of sound. A three-dimensional world sculpted from vibration. It can feel the exact location of a beetle crawling on a branch in the darkness. It can sense the gentle rhythm of a field mouse's heart beating softly beneath a blanket of snow. The world it hears is not noise, but sculpture. Each sound has a shape, a texture, a temperature. A falling leaf is not just a rustle. It is a spiral of sound growing closer, softer until it rests. The wind is not a single note. It is 1,000 threads of sound weaving through the branches of the trees. For the owl, listening is a form of sight, a deeper sight. It closes its eyes not to shut the world out, but to hear it more clearly. To see the world not just with the surface of its eyes, but with the whole of its being. And this profound stillness, this deep and knowing silence wears many different faces across the world. The form may change, but the essence remains the same. Let your mind drift now across oceans and continents. Imagine the heart-shaped, spirit-white face of a barn owl, a pale ghost gliding through an old English countryside. It floats over fields of sleeping wheat, a silent keeper of barns and forgotten church towers. Its call is not a hoot, but a long, ethereal shriek that is more a part of the wind than a sound in itself. It is the gentleness of the night given wings. Then let the scene dissolve, flowing from green fields to a landscape of endless white. Here in the vast open spaces of the Arctic, the snowy owl sits motionless. It is a creature made of packed snow and winter starlight, its feathers a brilliant, luminous white to match its home. It waits with a patience that seems to hold the wisdom of the ice itself. Its bright yellow eyes, the only color in a world of silver and gray. It is the endurance of the night made still. and the dream shifts again from the open tundra to the deep, ancient forests of North America. Here, the great horned owl reigns a symbol of quiet strength. It is a larger, more powerful presence with two great tufts of feathers on its head that look like ears or horns. It sits on a thick pine branch, a steadfast silhouette against the moon. Its deep, resonant hoot is the very voice of the deep woods, a soft, rhythmic hoo-hoo that feels less like a call and more like the forest breathing in its sleep. It is the ancient power of the night held in perfect balance, a golden gaze that holds the memory of 1,000 moons. That golden gaze holds the memory of 1,000 moons. And the dream shifts once more, carrying us across the sea to the stone cliffs and ancient mountains of Europe and Asia. Here, enthroned on a rocky ledge, sits the Eurasian eagle owl. Its eyes are not yellow, but a deep, fiery amber, like two smoldering embers left over from the sunset. It is a being of stone and shadow, its feathered body the same mottled gray and brown as the rock it calls home. It does not need to hide. It simply belongs a living piece of the mountain, watching the valleys sleep below. And from these great majestic beings, our awareness drifts to the small and the humble. Imagine the warm, dry air of a desert night, a sky brilliant with stars, and from a hollow in a tall saguaro cactus, two tiny eyes blink open. This is the elf owl, one of the smallest in the world, no bigger than a sparrow. It does not command the forest with a deep hoot, but adds its own soft whistling note to the quiet chorus of the desert. It is a tiny spark of life, a gentle spirit living in the heart of a giant, spiny plant. Nearby, a different kind of owl lives not in the heights, but in the earth itself. The burrowing owl makes its home in tunnels underground, a safe, quiet chamber away from the world. It stands on long, slender legs, its gaze curious and watchful at the entrance to its earthen home. It is a reminder that wisdom is not always found high above, but can also dwell in the quiet, hidden spaces of the world. From the great to the small, from the snow-covered plains to the warm desert sands, each of these beings is a different verse in the same silent poem. A poem written not with words, but with feathers, with patience, and with an unwavering gaze. They all share the same gift, the gift of stillness, of moving through the world without disturbing its slumber. And now, let us watch as that stillness transforms into motion. This is the dance of the night. On a branch, high above the forest floor, an owl waits. It is not an impatient waiting. It is not a tense waiting. It is a deep, meditative state of being. It becomes one with the tree, Its feathers are like bark. Its stillness is like the wood. It is listening not with its ears, but with its whole body, feeling the subtle rhythms of the world around it. The forest breathes, and the owl breathes with it. Time itself seems to stretch and soften. Minutes and hours lose their meaning. There is only the now, this perfect quiet moment of awareness. And then something changes. A subtle shift in the flow of the night. A quiet call that only the owl can hear. Without a thought, without a plan, it leans forward. It does not jump. It does not dive. It simply releases. It surrenders itself to gravity, folding its wings into a soft, streamlined shape. It becomes a shadow in motion, a drop of silence falling through the air. There is no sound of rushing wind, no flutter of panicked feathers. Only a perfect, graceful descent. It is a breath held and then released, a seamless movement that is as natural as a leaf falling from its branch. It glides over the soft, mossy ground, its focus absolute, its presence a mere whisper. It is the embodiment of purpose without effort, a perfect union of stillness and action. And then, just as quietly, it rises again. A single, powerful, silent beat of its wings lifts it back into the air, carrying it back to its perch. It settles onto the branch as if it had never left. The dance is over. The forest returns to its perfect equilibrium. There was no violence here, no struggle. There was only a quiet exchange, a necessary rhythm in the slow-breathing life of the forest. This is the poetry of existence, where every being plays its part in a silent, interconnected web. The owl is not a hunter. It is a guardian of balance, a quiet participant in the quiet, steady heartbeat of the world. The owl is a quiet participant in the quiet, steady heartbeat of the world. And now, that heartbeat begins to soften to slow as the deepest part of the night gives way to the first thought of dawn. The deep, velvet blue of the sky begins to thin at its eastern edge. It is not yet light, but a change is happening. A slow, silent alchemy. The stars, which were once sharp points of diamond, now seem to blur slightly, their brilliance receding into a growing softness. Mist, which had settled in the low places of the forest, now seems to glow from within, catching a light that is not yet visible to our eyes. The forest itself begins to breathe again, a long, slow sigh of release after the stillness of the deep night. The owl feels this shift not as an ending, but as a turning, a natural, unhurried transition. The time for silent observation is drawing to a close, and the time for rest is beginning. It leaves its perch with that same effortless grace, a shadow melting back into the deeper shadows of the trees. It is returning home, returning to its quiet center. For some, home is a deep hollow in the trunk of an old oak tree, a chamber lined with the soft dust of ages. The wood itself holds the warmth of 1,000 forgotten days. For others, it is a high rafter in an old barn where the scent of hay and rain-soaked wood creates a peaceful sanctuary. Or perhaps it is a sheltered crevice in a rock face, a quiet pocket of stillness carved from ancient stone. Wherever it is a place of safety, a place to let the world recede. The owl settles into its rest. The great luminous eyes which held the entire night sky slowly close. But this is not a complete shutting down of awareness. Even in rest, a part of the owl remains connected to the world. A gentle listening continues like a soft hum beneath the surface of sleep. Its mind does not race with thoughts of the night's journey. Instead, it stores the memory of the night in a different way, not as a series of events, but as a collection of feelings, a geography of every sound, the texture of each gust of wind as it moved through the pines, the precise degree of cold in the air just before the mist began to form. This wisdom is absorbed, becoming a part of the owl's being. Even in sleep, this awareness lingers, like a single sheltered flame burning steadily in a hidden place. And in that same quiet center, in the warm, soft darkness of an old oak hollow, another kind of life is stirring. A new generation of silence is waiting to be born. Here, nestled together, are the owlets. They are soft, downy creatures, more like bundles of cloud than birds. Their eyes are still closed or just beginning to open to a world of shadow and muted light. They do not yet know the sky. They do not yet know how to fly. They know only the warmth of their siblings, the soft, woody scent of their home, and the reassuring presence of their parents. They learn the language of patience before they ever learn the language of flight. They learn to wait, to listen. They can feel the world through the bodies of their parents. The faint vibration in the wood when a parent lands at the entrance, the subtle shift in the air. The mother and father share the duty. One will remain a warm, feathery blanket of protection, while the other glides out into the silver night. They bring back food, a quiet offering of life to sustain new life. And through these gentle, rhythmic comings and goings, the young owls learn the cadence of the world. They learn that the night provides. They learn that stillness is rewarded. Their first weeks are a long, slow dream of warmth and waiting, a meditation in the heart of a tree. Then one day, a change occurs. The downy feathers are joined by the first true flight feathers. A new strength begins to build in their small bodies. An ancient instinct begins to stir. The moment of the first flight arrives not as a decision, but as a gentle pull. An invitation from the air outside the hollow. The young owl stands at the edge of its home, looking out at a world it has only ever felt and heard. The first leap is not a fall. It is an act of trust, a surrender to the air that has held its parents so gently for so long. Its new feathers open not with a sharp snap, but like a question being asked of the sky. And the sky answers not with a sound, but with lift. And the sky answers not with a sound, but with lift. The air, which was once just something to breathe, becomes a tangible presence, a soft, invisible hand that catches the young owl and holds it. The first flight is clumsy, a short, fluttering journey from one branch to another. But in that small distance, everything changes. The world, once a collection of sounds and shadows viewed from a single point, now becomes a vast open space of possibility. And so the quiet lineage continues. One generation of stillness passes its wisdom into another. The lessons are not taught with words, but are absorbed through observation, through instinct, through the shared, silent rhythm of the night. A song without notes passed down through time. This quiet knowing presence has not gone unnoticed. For as long as humans have gathered around fires to tell stories, we have looked up into the darkness and seen the owl, and we have wondered. We have seen a reflection of our own quietest thoughts in its wide, unblinking eyes. Let your mind drift back now through the soft layers of time. Imagine a night in ancient Greece, the air warm and smelling of olive groves. On a hill overlooking a sleeping city, the Parthenon glows under the moonlight. And here, perched on the shoulder of a statue of Athena, the goddess of wisdom, is an owl. Its gaze is steady, watchful. It is not just a bird, it is a symbol. It represents the wisdom that does not need to boast the knowledge that sees clearly in the dark when all others are blinded. It is the quiet, observant mind. And the dream flows onward to the stone-paved roads of the Roman Empire. Here, the owl's meaning shifts. Its silent flight between night and day makes it a messenger of transitions, a guardian of the threshold between endings and new beginnings. Its call in the twilight is a soft reminder that all things must pass, making way for what is to come. It is not a symbol of fear, but of necessary change, of the natural, quiet turning of the great wheel of life. Now let the dream cross the world to the islands of Japan. The air is misty, and the scent of cherry blossoms lingers from the fading day. Here the word for owl, fukuru, can be written with characters that also mean luck and freedom from hardship. The owl is a gentle protector, a bringer of good fortune. Its soft presence a charm to ward off suffering. To see one is to receive a quiet blessing from the forest. In countless other cultures, among peoples who have lived in close harmony with the earth, the owl is seen as a bridge. A creature that belongs to both the world we see and the world we cannot. It lives in the twilight, in the space between, a guide for souls, a keeper of sacred mysteries. It appears in our art, in our literature, and in our dreams. It is a mirror for our own introspection, a quiet companion for the solitary thinker, the poet, the philosopher. It is a living reminder that not all strength is loud, not all power is aggressive. There is a deep, profound strength in stillness, a power in the ability to simply watch, to listen, and to understand. It is a creature that reminds us that truth often whispers. It rarely shouts. And this quiet mythic being is also a masterpiece of natural design. Every part of its existence, from the largest bone to the smallest filament of a feather, is a lesson in quiet perfection. The same science that allows it to fly in silence also allows its body to perform other wonders. Think again of that impossible turn of its head. For us, such a movement would be impossible. But the owl has a secret. Its bones and blood vessels are designed for this perfect fluid motion. The channels in its neck bones that hold its arteries are wide and spacious, giving the vessels room to move without being pinched. It has special reservoirs for blood, so that even when the flow is momentarily constricted on one side, its brain never loses its vital supply of oxygen. It is a river that has learned how to curve without stopping its flow. A perfect, elegant solution to a complex problem. Everything about the owl is designed for a life of quiet efficiency. Its bones are hollow, yet incredibly strong, making its body light enough for a silent, effortless flight. Its entire being is a testament to an evolution that favors not the loudest or the fastest, but the most aware, the most perfectly adapted to the gentle rhythms of the night. It is not a loud genius. It is quiet perfection. It is not a loud genius. It is quiet perfection. And from this quiet perfection, a gentle lesson unfolds, a lesson for us. The owl teaches not with words, but with its very being. It teaches us to act softly, to listen more deeply than we speak, and to move through our own lives with a quiet awareness. It shows us that to be wise is to know when to be still, to know that the most profound answers often arrive not in a flurry of activity, but in the peaceful spaces in between. And so now, let your own breath become a part of this story. Allow it to slow down, to soften. Let it become as quiet as an owl's wing gliding through the night air. There is no need to force it. Just let it be. A gentle breath in, feeling the quiet of this moment, and a long, slow breath out, releasing the day that has passed. With each breath in, imagine you are drawing in the calm of the moonlit forest. And with each breath out, you are letting go of any thoughts that no longer serve you. The wisdom of the owl is no longer in a distant tree. It is here now in the stillness you are creating for yourself. It is in the patient rhythm of your own breathing. And as you rest in this quiet space, the world outside continues its gentle turning. The deepest part of the night is passing. On the far eastern horizon, the line that was once a deep, solid ink now holds a faint, luminous glow. Dew begins to form on the cool surfaces of the leaves, each tiny drop a perfect mirror for a sky that is slowly, imperceptibly brightening. The owl feels this change in the air. It is the end of its watch. With a final soft movement, it folds its great wings. The luminous eyes, which held the wisdom of the entire night, slowly, gently close. The night's wisdom does not vanish. It simply rests, held safely within the quiet heart of the owl, waiting for the shadows to lengthen once more. And as the new day rises, you carry a fragment of that quiet with you into your own deep and peaceful rest. You have learned to see more quietly, to move with more patience, to honor the wisdom that you can feel but cannot always hear. The story fades now, like a breath on the cool morning air, and the silence returns to its nest deep within you.